What's up, Toji here. This is the long-awaited video. Is Seele a better damage dealer or a worse damage dealer than Topaz? One thing we have to take into consideration before we get into the video. Seele is a character that always gets better whenever a new support comes out. Her kit is complete and she's a character that doesn't need any tweaks whatsoever. She has the best relic set, she has the best supporting characters alongside her, and she has one of the best elements in the game, all while having really solid multipliers. So whenever new supports come out, the value of this character will go up, and I think you can say the same for a lot of other characters in the game. But the thing is about Seele versus Topaz, which we'll get more into the video, Seele is a character that uses skill points. So remember that, she uses skill points. Topaz can use skill points, but most of the time you don't use skill points with her. And that being said, if we ever get a character in the future, a support character, that is able to buff damage of allies based on the skill points they use, then Seele is going to become even better. So let that sink in for a bit. Now, what I like about this character a lot is she gets better with the more investment you give her. She's a character that is centered around making sure she one-shots the opponent, and if she's able to one-shot the opponent, she gets a reset another turn, or extension of her base turn, right? That means she keeps all of the buffs that she had when she killed the opponent, and is able to dish out more damage keeping those same buffs. So she's a very solid character to use alongside characters like Bronya, who have buffs that last for one turn. Furthermore, she has a base speed of 115, and that is extremely high. This is the highest tier of base speed in the game. This allows you to put on attack boots because you don't have to worry about getting speed boots. Your character is already fast, faster than most characters. This is a 25 speed difference from a character like Gempard. Seele increases her own speed with her elemental skill. So one of the things you want to take into consideration is that she's going to take many turns. Like I said before, we don't have a character right now that generates skill points for the team. But when we do, you'll be able to spam her skill more often and utilize a very fast Seele. I'm explaining to you why this is very important. Seele, whenever she uses a basic attack, pushes her action forward by 20%. So if you already have 2 speed stacks from your elemental skill and you use a basic attack, you're going to have a lot of action forward, and you'll be taking turns much more consistently, even if you do not proc your resurgence, which gives you an additional turn. You can still take many turns because she is a very fast character with high base speed. Now, if you have Eidolon 2, things get a little more spicy. I don't like talking about Eidolons when it comes to comparing characters, but this is a huge power move for the character. Now, whenever Topaz's Eidolons are revealed, we'll go over those as well, but for the most part, Seele's Eidolon 2 is going to be a lot of her value there. This extra speed allows her to utilize the 5-star light cone best in slot for her, because this light cone increases her crit rate, her basic attack, elemental skill, and crit damage of the ultimate, which allows her to dish out much more damage and ensure she gets one-shots on the opponent. Again, she's a character with the more investment you give her, the better she gets. So having her 5-star light cone is very crucial to the character. Having the best substats possible ensures that you can crit most of the time, if not all the time, and utilize a high crit damage in ensuring you one-shot the opponent. Now, to be one of the best characters in the game, you have to use the best supporters in the game. Seele utilizes Bronya really well. Without a doubt, I'm sure Topaz can use Bronya too, but it's not going to feel as fluid as it does with Seele. So that's one selling point Seele has over Topaz. Seele and Silverwolf feels like a complete duo. This character buffs all of Seele's damage because of all the debuffs she applies, the resist stretch she applies, and the quantum weakness, allowing Seele to utilize every part of her kit to the fullest. So this team right here is actually the best team in the game right now. The reason being is because you have everything you want for Seele. She has access to her best supporter, which is she has access to her best defensive option, which is Fu Xuan. She has access to Bronya, who is her best offensive buffing support, and she also has access to her best offensive debuffing support. So when you have all these characters in the party with Seele, she's without a doubt, going to perform at her best because she has all the best characters in a team that flows really well. Because if that enemy already has wind weakness, then you're going to ensure you put quantum on the enemy. She's going to dish out so much damage with this team. You could try to put Topaz in the same team, but it's going to feel a little clunky. And the reason being is because she's not a quantum character, and Bronya isn't going to be a very solid buffing character for Topaz because, well, you probably want to use Asta instead. to ensure that you can at least put that weakness on the enemy from Silverwolf if you plan to use Topaz with Silverwolf. So your team would look a little something like this, which can work if the enemy already has Quantum Weakness, which isn't unheard of, and you're able to put that Fire Weakness on the enemy. Considering that Topaz is a single target damage dealer, well, she's going to love Silverwolf, who also enables single target damage dealers to do as much damage as they can. Now, Topaz is going to be the first character to utilize Asta to the fullest. I mean, if you have Asta, you can put attack boots on your Topaz, just like you would put attack boots on your Seele. You're able to utilize Planetary Rendezvous, which gives a fire damage bonus to Topaz and the rest of the team, and you can utilize all of Asta's traces. The attack increase for a character that has lower base attacks than most characters in the game, well, damage dealers that is, right? And then the other trace increasing the fire damage bonus given to the team furthermore, which is all Topaz really wants if you want her to dish out as much damage as possible. So once Topaz does arrive, we'll at least have a very strong supporter to use alongside the character. One that you get for free, and one that is going to enable and further push the damage capabilities of her and Numby. If you want Topaz to be in a hyper carry comp, then Ting Yun is probably going to provide more value than Bronya, because Ting Yun gives energy for sure to Topaz, allowing her to get her enhanced follow-up attacks with Numby, and then she pushes up the action forward, the speed of the ally, making the ally take more turns. So Numby is going to have his action forward more often, and the attack increase she gives alongside the damage bonus as well. This is a character that's going to work really well with Topaz. Now, what's nice about having Asta of Ting Yun is that your Ting Yun will move a lot more often, giving more energy to the ally. Ting Yun will also have her attack increased by Asta, further giving more attack to Topaz, which Topaz is a character, once again, that has pretty low base attack. So getting more attack from Ting Yun and attack from Asta is going to boost her damage capabilities greatly. Now, these two are going to be a very solid duo to have if you want to run a hypercarry Topaz. But the thing we're missing with Topaz as of right now is a couple of things. The first thing is Topaz does not have a best sustained character. What I mean by that is she doesn't have a character that is able to give a follow-up attack to push up the action forward of Numby. Once we do get a character that can do that, Luocha isn't that character, then she will perform a lot better in her teams as a hyper carry. We just don't have that character right now. So it seems like she's a character that's kind of forced in the support sub DPS role right now. And that's if you want her to have a team that seems somewhat competitive. Now, when it comes to fighting against Seele and single target damage, she's probably not going to dish out more damage than Seele, and that's because she has not have her tools to shine right now. But once she does receive that follow-up sustained character defensive option, and once she does receive a best in slot relic for follow-up attackers, then she will be a very solid damage dealer. It's just right now it's really hard to compare her to Seele because she is like nearly 60% of her full potential in my opinion. So it seems like if you want Topaz to be very optimal right now, you should probably use her with Clara. And the reason being is because you enable Clara, allowing Clara to deal massive amounts of damage and push up the action forward of Numby at the same time. It might not be the most fun composition in the world because it is a reactive instead of a proactive playstyle with Seele, Silverwolf, and Bronya, for instance, which promotes a more aggressive playstyle, but it is one nonetheless that gets the job done, and one that will prove to be very effective. The only problem I see is that if you are not a fan of Clara, you probably won't like the playstyle that these two provide. You have to enjoy that playstyle after all. Now, we do know that Topaz can use Swords Play. The R5 Swords Play for Topaz is going to enable this character to do massive amounts of damage. You have to take into consideration that 16% damage bonus that stacks up 5 times is going to give Topaz an 80% damage bonus and max stacks to that single enemy. And considering she is a single target damage dealer and has no adjacent hitting abilities whatsoever, then she's going to have this uptime a lot whenever she's fighting that one boss enemy in fights. This is going to make Topaz a killing machine. So she has one of the best light cones already. So she's just missing a relic set, and she's just missing a follow-up defensive option character. Now, in the contrast of that, Topaz already has her 2-piece planar set, which enables the character to deal massive damage. Follow-up attack and damage increase is all the character does in her kit. Follow-up attack on her basic, elemental skill. Her ultimate isn't any damage, but it does enhance follow-up attack damage for Numby, and Numby does follow-up attack damage. So on the opposite side of the argument, you could be like, well, Seele doesn't have her best in slot still planar set. But once Seele does receive her best slot planar set, then she will deal more damage. So again, it is right now not a good time to compare the two characters if you think about it. And if you are using a build centered around your Seele dealing as much damage as she can work for ultimate, then you would use an also Sato. But if you're looking for Seele to deal as much damage as you can with her elemental skill and her basic, which is probably more optimal if you do have E2 Seele with a little bit more speed and Bronya in the team comp, then you probably will be using Rudolon Arena. But again, until we receive a planar set that increases Seele's damage, give her a damage boost and attack, that's going to allow Seele to deal much more damage because that buffs all of her kit, not just her ultimate and not just her elemental skill and basic attack. So as of right now, it's pretty obvious who the clear winner is. Seele already has the best supporters in the game, she already has the best relic set in the game, and she already has the best light cone in the game in my opinion. She has all of that working for her already, and she is still an amazing damage dealer. Her kit is overloaded still to this day because she works very well in blast scenarios, which Topaz is gonna suffer in because she doesn't have any AoE, any pseudo AoE like Seele to keep up. One last thing to take into consideration is that Topaz doesn't have her follow-up attack sustained character, but when she does receive that in her dedicated relic set, follow-up attackers, which we probably will get at some point, then she will be a much more competing force against Seele. And one more thing you must lastly take into consideration. Mono Quantum isn't Mono Quantum right now. Well, it is, but we don't have that Quantum Harmony character. Now, once we do receive that character, I'm sure that character probably will be better than Bronya in that team. So that means Seele's damage is going to be further increased because of that Harmony character. That character is going to push Seele past her limits, which I didn't think was possible because this character already does it all. That's the video here. Twitch.tv/Toshio, link will be in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. Honestly, I had a lot of fun with the rambling. Thank you for watching and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.